to have such a representative conference after so many years in our capital. This is naturally, of course, I would like to first extend my thanks to UNESCO UNEP for helping to organize it. It bears immense significance that we gathered here 35 years later to celebrate a significant achievement. And I think Tbilisi has proved itself as an international city. We are hosting more than 300 delegates from over 100 countries. But it's a different city today. In 1977, you came to a capital of one of the Soviet republics that had no freedom, no independence, no its vision of its own. But now it's a different city. Again, the proud capital that is thousands of years old, but that has new messages, new goals to the world. It's a prudent inheritor and proud inheritor of its rich history. And of course, indeed, the world is a very different place today. Can you imagine where we were in 1977? Some of the delegates, of course, were not even born yet. I was 9 years old. And at that age, if you were 9 years old back then, environment was not the first thing that would naturally come to your mind, neither in your daily life or neither in your educational aspirations, nor in your educational aspirations. In fact, now nature itself, environment itself invaded our lives. And it's teaching us lessons. It's teaching us lessons. It's teaching lessons to the inhabitants of island states, which are under daily threat of disappearance. And indeed, I remember meeting President, my colleague of one of them, and he said, "Daniel, at least you have some hills up there, and we don't have a single one." And I do understand it. It is a tragedy when a country might disappear with its identity because of environment. It's teaching lessons people who are deprived of water for the whole lifetime. It's not just, for one season. It's teaching lessons for the people who are deprived of food. So we really then need to adjust, and we can only achieve sustainable development only for learning and coordinated education interventions at all levels, national, regional, international. So the goal of environmental education is to promote changes in lifestyle, attitudes, and behavior needed to foster sustainable development and to address these modern-day challenges. It requires action from a multiplicity of shareholders and actors, as well as long-term sector-specific strategies. So we should be encouraged and inspired by some success stories that exist out there in the world. Create new ones, share them, talk to each other, how can we figure out how can we do things. Here in Georgia, we are aware of the challenge of our environment. We are becoming 100% green, clean energy country. We are becoming the biggest regional exporter of clean hydropower electricity. We are doing solar energies, other clean sources of energy. We are trying to move we are solving the emission issue here. We are trying to become zero carbon emission country. We have the plan to move the whole government to electric cars. Within the next few years' time, we have already planned. Indeed, when I drive, I almost only drive one electric cars, and we're trying to produce them here. We are working a lot on providing clean water, on providing other environmental facilities to people, and generally changing the system. We have one laptop per child program for educational purposes. Every kid in Georgia gets a laptop from the government. We've invited 10,000 native English speakers to teach English in our schools. Every primary high school in Georgia has an Australian, American, British, or any other country represented for whom English is native as a teacher. We are coming from this post-Soviet tradition of being backward country, stagnant, deeply inequitable, because of omnipresent corruption and cronyism. According to the European Union's last survey, Georgia is the least corrupt country in Europe. We were one of the most criminalized countries in the world, according again to the European Union. We are the safest country in Europe in terms of crime rate and perceptions. Our capital, Tbilisi, is the second safest capital in the world, according to the UN. And that came from where we are. We have some of the fastest procedures. We have world's fastest custom procedure, world's fastest ID issuance procedure. We have the world's fastest company registration, world's fastest property transactions. We are the easiest place to do business in Central and Eastern Europe, according to the World Bank, one of the easiest in the world. And this all serves to make life easy. But life cannot be really easy unless the whole thing becomes sustainable, long-term, and a nice place to be for the whole world. Georgia is also a big tourist hub. When I became president, we had 120,000 tourists. 2 years ago, we had 2 million. Last year, we had 3 million. This year, we'll have 4.2 million. Next year, we'll have 5.5 million. And all the way, we'll go to 10 million within the next maximum 3 years. Again, this is an important challenge because we want to have also environmental tourism. This is not an easy thing to handle. On the one hand, it's important for the economy. It happens because Georgia is safe, because Georgia is nice, because Georgia is hospitable, but also there come some challenges with it, which we have to handle. These are challenges connected with agriculture. Again, we have to handle it. So, we are also working on other educational facilities. We created the network of community college where we also teach environment, where we also have vocational training at the same time. We are creating together for the first time in this region, together with a consortium of American universities, including MIT, Minnesota, and others, new American Technology University, which will be the tallest building in the Caucasus and in Eastern Europe, in Batumi, Georgia, and our sea coast, which starts to look more and more like Singapore, by the way. I encourage you to visit it in terms of skyscrapers development. But again, sustainability of it is a big challenge. So we are totally restructuring our educational system. We had one of the biggest challenges in our education system. So it was one of the most biggest corruption. Was not just police. We fired the entire police force when we started reforms. Tax service, we fired the entire tax and customs service when we started reforms. But education, we couldn't fire the entire education service, and we didn't have to. But that was the most corrupt thing in Georgia. To get into university, you had to pay bribe. To move from one to another, you had to pay bribe. To get into good school, you had to pay bribe. This is gone now, of course. We have universal exams. But then to bring the level up from being this kind of corrupt reading system to getting high education standards, that's another challenge. And of course, environmental education is a very essential part of it. And from this point of view, we really have to do a lot of other work. Of course, the world is changing rapidly, and we, the government, should keep up the pace. With new challenges, there are always new opportunities. We should be quick to capitalize on them and seize opportunities, learn and share from each other's progress, and unify our effort to foster environmentally responsible challenges to our national and international situations. The recent international forum, including Rio 20, Rio 20 plus 20, and the future we want, have built global momentum that has to be captured. And I believe this is the goal of Tbilisi+35 conference, which will mark a new beginning by taking concrete actions for our long-term good for the benefits of the generation to come. Thank you again for all of you for coming here. Especially those of you who came from a very long distance for taking this effort. And I wish you the most enjoyable stay and productive work in Georgia. Thank you.